I was reading your book with some kind of trepidation. So I was looking around over my shoulder whether or not anybody could hear me or see what I'm reading. From the very first, in your preface to your introduction, you establish your disgust at some of what you have described as a rot in the Nigerian judiciary. Let me start by asking you, the change that we see in leadership between Justice Kayode Ariwoola and Justice Kekere Ekun, how fundamental do you think this change is?
When you ask with the pedigree of Justice Kekere Ekun, I had to laugh because it's as if the change of name would suggest a change of, some change of guard, as if some paradigm has shifted simply because we moved from an Ariwoola to a Kekere Ekun. The fact of the matter is that she's a member of the Nigerian judiciary. She's at the apex right now. She was part and parcel of that Supreme Court each and every time that it had failed the Nigerian people in the last decade plus. She was part and parcel of that Supreme Court when it delivered his Lawan judgment, when it delivered his Akpabio's judgment, when it delivered almost all of the disgusting judgments that have issued forth from the Supreme Court. You said you were reading my book with trepidation, and I'm like, okay, Flora Azinge, a justice, I believe, of the Court of Appeal, sitting at the tribunal in Kano. Azinge came out publicly to speak of how she was being induced. Attempts were being made to induce herself and members of her panel. That wasn't Dele Farotimi that said that. That is a veritable member of the judiciary that said that. Bokachua came to the public space to tell all of us within the unholy chambers of the Senate exactly how judicial pronouncements are procured in the bedroom. Supreme Court justices, numbering 14, came out to say that the Supreme Court, the head of the Supreme Court at the time, Tanko Mohammed, the plane driver, was corrupt. They were claiming that 80 billion had been misappropriated in the Supreme Court. These were justices of the Supreme Court that were signing petitions. When the United States Department of State came out with its 2021 report and said that our judiciary is a cesspit of corruption, it wasn't Dele Farotimi that said that. The Nigerian judiciary is the way it is because that is the way the system needs it to be. How do you talk about justice in a situation where you spend over 5 years in court, at the High Court, over 5 years before you are even heard? I have cases involving me as a person, personal cases where I had grievances against state agencies and I sued. And I've been in court for like 4 years in one case. My matter has not been heard in 1 day. We've never been called to open our case. And yet, if that is not corrupt, what is more corrupt? Justice delayed is justice denied. Ariwoola is still sitting there at his valedictory saying bye-bye and is talking about delay in justice. Who causes it? So we've managed to evolve a judicial system that works to deliver justice to the poor and to the rich and powerful, but only judgment gets to the poor. So the poor will end up in prison, the poor will end up with the heavy end of the stick, but the rich, they get justice delivered faster. If an emir wants to sue now, he will sue and they will deliver judgment within 1 week. That's why you ended up with the madness in Kano. But if a poor man needs justice delivered quickly, he's still in court for the 4 years, like I have been in court for 4 years, and I'm not exactly poverty ridden, and yet nobody has heard me. So what kind of judicial system have we built?